Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by my lovely co host, Angel.
Hi, and if you notice something weird in my voice, I am getting over a cold again. So,
Tonight we are back talking about Port Charles, Tainted Love. We are on week 10, so we're coming close to the end.
hmm
Um, a lot of big things happened this week, so I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. I feel like that's a running theme lately. I'm like, oh, a lot of big things happened this week because it's just like there's always
yes,
something happening.
they very much upped the ante in this arc.
Yeah. Do you think it was because it was summer and they were just really trying to get that younger
Oh
audience
yeah,
with
oh
them?
definitely, yeah. That was the big thing with soap operas back in like the 2000s. Like they'll have like Jenna was not Jenna City. Wow, Young and the Restless will have like the had the
Oh, by Jabal.
Blow by Jabot. We had the Last Blast crew on Days. I know
Mhm.
that all my children had a teen scene, but it wasn't like as prevalent.
Yeah,
It was good.
yeah. Well, it worked because 16-year-old me was all up on this in
Mhm.
2001. But all right, so we open with Gabby is still locked up by Chris in his what would you call it? It's a cage.
Jail, dungeon.
It's a electrical. If you touch it, you get zapped. um, and she kind of tried to seduce him
Mhm.
into letting her out and becoming one like her. She even went so far as to like expose her bra.
Yeah.
He had a funny line though. He was like, "I'm not really a neck guy" or
Yeah,
something
I was
like
about to say that. I'm not really in that guy.
so yeah, so she kind of fails to like trick him into that.
Mhm.
Um back at the wedding, that didn't happen. Livy and Caleb.
Mhm.
Jack teleported to wherever they are and
I think it's like
interrupted.
upstate New York. I don't know. But I thought Port Charles was, you know what? Never mind.
um so something I never really thought about, but I thought about this like just like not even watching it, just like preparing for the podcast.
hmm
Um, so she was so happy that her mother was there and she was going to be there for the wedding, but her mother wasn't at the ceremony.
Right.
And I'm like, huh, I never thought about that. But anyway, so Jack interrupts and he's trying to like rescue her, and she's like, I'm in love with Caleb. And, like she's full on Caleb. She's fully mind
hmm
controlled. Like she's like, I don't want anything to do with you. Um, Caleb actually lets them have a private conversation.
Which does surprise me.
So, yeah, that surprised me too. And this is where he admits to her that he's a vampire
hmm
and that he was afraid to let her get close, and that's why he was pushing her away because he didn't want to hurt her.
hmm
And her rationale behind choosing Caleb over him is that Caleb has always been honest with her. He didn't try to hide it from her.
Yeah.
She's just gonna go marry Caleb. Meanwhile, Lucy and Kevin are on a private jet. It looked like
Prep that,
they had
yeah.
like free roam of the. It reminded me of the jets they would use on days, and I guess
Yeah,
even
me
Guiding
too.
Light because it reminded me of the jet that Alan and Alexandra fought on.
Yeah.
Vessels on.
hmm Guiding light, yep.
I always want to like mix up Alexandra and Vanessa. That's why I had to pause for a minute. So yeah, they're headed to wherever this tropical resort looking place is that
hmm
is in upstate New York.
Maison de la Noche.
And they hope that they get there in time. Um Caleb returns, interrupts Livy and Jack, and Jack kind of stands up to him and he just laughs at him. He's like, "You really think you're that powerful?" And I guess mystically, Caleb is able to like keep Jack up against the wall, like across the room by like
hmm
the fireplace, so that he can't move. Um, And then Kevin comes rushing in because now they've arrived. And I laughed when Caleb basically called him dad. I love the sarcasm.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Yeah.
Call me Dad.
So does Lucy come in? I can't remember. Did she come in and then he told Jack to take Livy and Lucy and get out of there, and then Kevin stayed with Caleb?
Yeah, I think Lucy was there the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, she didn't wait on the plane the whole time. I know that much.
Right.
So she must have came in and she did her Lucy thing. She was just like, "Oh,
Mhm.
oh, oh, what's going on?" Oh, yes, because that's what distracted Caleb. And
Mhm.
then Jack came up behind him. And then, oh, because when Caleb saw Lucy, he had a reaction to her because he was like afraid of her, or he was just like
Well,
repelled.
that
But
was the second time. That was the second time that she came.
oh, that was the second time.
Yeah. So
Oh, when she went to get Kevin, right, right.
when she
Okay.
went to pick Kevin, yeah, that was the
So the
second
first
time.
time was Jack came up behind him and attacked him.
Uh huh.
And then Kevin and told Lucy and Jack to get Livy out of there against her will because she was like, "No, I want to marry him. I love him." Whatever.
Hmm. Whatever, Libby.
So now they're back on the jet, and Livy doesn't want to be there, and they're trying to tell her that she's being mind controlled, and she's not having it. And Jack's trying to remind her of their love, and she's just like tunnel vision.
Hmm.
So then Lucy decides that she's gonna go back to get Kevin
Hmm.
or save him, and that Jack and Livy should take the jet back to Port Charles. Which I didn't think they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna wait, but they didn't.
Anyway, no.
So Kevin basically is like ready to die for Livy. Like he's ready to take on Caleb, even
Hmm.
though he doesn't have the powers or the strength to do so.
Hmm.
And then you're right, this is when Lucy like walked in and he was like repelled by her.
Uh huh.
And they were kind of like, I don't know what that was, but we should get out of here while we can.
Yep.
And I guess they were on a mountain, right? That's what it felt
Yeah.
like. Because we then see them like at the bottom of a mountain, like they had
Hmm.
ran down it. And Lucy gets it in her head because she knows that vampires can't bite their own family, that she must somehow be related to Caleb.
Hmm.
So now I don't remember if she is if she's just like a living member of his family like Michael is. She's not.
No. Should I spoil it?
Don't spoil it because I
I
won't. I
won't.
won't.
Okay, I won't. I won't.
But it made me wonder, like, huh? Are they cousins or something? I feel like I remember her and Rafe being cousins.
Rafe and her distant cousins. And
Okay.
then remember, and then here's a clue. Not Rafe. Wow. Caleb said, like Caleb back at the mansion was like, she's the one.
She's the one, right? Hmm.
She's the one. So
Yeah.
that gives you a clue of something coming up.
The chosen one, like
The
Buffy.
chosen one. She's like a chosen one. Yeah.
um. So they're now at the bottom. They're on a road, and apparently a car hasn't come by in a half an hour, and then there's like this truck coming, and Kevin like jumps in the
The
middle of
Mack
the
truck.
road to like wave this Mack truck down.
Uh-huh.
And they end up in like a diner in like a middle of nowhere town.
Hmm.
And they're talking about vampires, and every time somebody overhears, Lucy's like, umpire,
I'm
umpires,
tired.
umpires. They run in my family, umpires. And there's a guy there with a laptop, and Kevin pretends to be like a federal agent or some kind of agent to like
Hmm.
commandeer the laptop. And they're like looking up like genealogy and stuff. And all I could think was, Wi-Fi wasn't around back then. Like you had to be like plugged into like broadband or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because I had to really think about that because when well, at home I had
Mm-hmm.
like broadband internet, but then at school everything was like plugged in
Mm-hmm.
to like it was like we had a computer lab. Well, we had multiple computer labs. We had the library computer lab, and then we had another computer lab where we learned how to type and stuff like that, and like use Microsoft Office and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
um remember Windows XP getting really excited about that.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah, so that's what I was like, and this is the middle of nowhere, so they don't have Wi-Fi.
right, yeah.
So I was like, all right, we'll just suspend
We'll
disbelief.
go with it.
All computers just magically have internet.
Yep.
um, and is this how they found out that her descendants were from like Transylvania?
Yeah. Because of the website, the Ancestry, I guess, website they went on.
Now,
Genealogy website, yeah.
Lucy had mentioned that like her parents had died. So is this like a real backstory from General Hospital? Like we never saw any of her family, and then they
The
were just
only
able
one
to
we
do this.
saw the only one we saw was Aunt Charlene. She's
Okay.
appeared multiple times on Port Charles.
Oh, okay. Was he mentioned somebody? Was that who he mentioned? And she was like, she did her best. Like, was she raised by her aunt?
I believe so. Somebody help me out help us out in the comments too. But I believe that's that's what I gathered when I was watching the show, that she was raised by Aunt Charlene.
Okay. All right. Jamal is trying to make some kind of connection to Gabby now that he knows that's his sister,
Hmm.
and he brings like photographs of his family to like show her so she could feel some kind of connection and like
Hmm.
find out like her heritage and her roots.
Uh-huh.
Um, she's not really receptive to it, but she kind of has like a soft moment where she's looking at it, and I felt like something was breaking through.
Hmm.
But he's basically like, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not giving up,
Hmm.
and that was that. I'm excited to see that relationship develop. Hopefully, it does.
Hopefully.
Doesn't sound encouraging.
Doesn't sound doesn't sound encouraging. I mean, as somebody, these are African American and Latino characters. I don't see this going any further personally, and especially in 2001. But who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah.
Which is a shame on a show back then that had an interracial couple in the
Uh huh.
forefront, that they're not doing that.
Hmm.
But we'll see. Um, so where are we? Um, oh, so Michael and Eve run into each other at the hospital because she was there thinking she was in labor. I guess she wasn't because
Well,
the
no, she
contractions
thought
went
she was
away.
losing the baby.
Oh, did she really think she was losing it, or that Caleb was gonna take it? I know she
Oh
said
yeah.
I'm losing the baby, but in my head I was like, she thinks Caleb's that like trying to take the baby.
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay. And last we saw Karen and Frank are on the vampire train. They know they exist. They're
Yeah.
ready.
So now every single character knows that the vampires exist. I'm thinking, hold on. Well, except
Yeah,
Serena. I mean, I'm sure Serena knows it
and
somehow,
Scott.
but it's not. Yeah, they're too busy on General Hospital.
Right.
So at this point, so
Yeah, everybody knows now, and they're just like they accepted it really quick.
mhm,
I don't know if I feel like because I'm so into it, I might believe it quicker than most.
mhm.
I don't know. Would you?
Mm. I mean, in Karen and Frank's case, they already dealt with supernatural entities, so
Yeah.
I get why they are in on it really quickly.
Right.
Me personally, I would need proof.
So, Livy tells Jack that Kayla brought her mother back and she's healthy and she was at the wedding, even though she wasn't. Um, and he thinks that if she brings her to the hospital to see that her mother's there and still kind of comatose
Mhm.
or catatonic, like she's not in a coma, her eyes are open. Um,
Not like I think it's locked in syndrome, but I'm not 100
yeah, you had
percent sure.
mentioned that lectin. Is that a real thing?
I don't know if it's real. I think
Or
it
is it a
is
soap
real, but
opera?
like I know that like the United that wow, not the United States. Wow, the Hollyoaks use the UK soap Hollyoaks use that as an excuse to write off one of the characters for a while.
Okay, so it must be a
So it
real
must be
thing.
real.
Yeah. Wow. It has to be a neurological thing.
Yeah.
Um, so he brings her there and she's like screaming for her mom to like wake up or move because she was
Mhm.
fine. and she's really upset. Great acting by Kelly Monaco.
Yeah.
Um,
Excellent.
they get back to the lighthouse. Kevin and Lucy are there, and Jack explains what happened. And they're like, "You see, Jack wasn't lying. You just have to remember your love for him."
Mhm.
And she is so brainwashed by Caleb that she's like, "No, he made my mother sick again. Caleb cured her, and
Uh-huh.
he made her sick again, all because he wants me to love him." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
Oh, Livy.
um, so now Lucy and Kevin were gonna go to Transylvania, but now they don't want to leave Livy alone like
Mhm.
this. Um, Jack says that he'll stay with her, and Kevin's still a little weary because he's like, "Well, you're a vampire." He's like, "I don't know
Mhm.
about that." Like, but he eventually agrees to it, and Lucy and him are gonna go to Transylvania.
Mhm.
Um, in I guess Livy's old bedroom, she's like outside on like a balcony in
Balcony,
of
yeah.
the lighthouse, screaming
Mhm.
for Caleb to rescue her. And Jack walks out, and he once again is like trying to remind her of their love, and he kisses her. He forcefully kisses her.
Mhm.
And she kind of gives in.
Mhm.
She puts up a little bit of fight at first, but then she kind of gives in. Um, Allison is acting a little bit weird. She doesn't really like that Jamal is still trying to like have a relationship with Gabby,
Mhm.
even though she's a vampire. I didn't really understand this. I was like, are her and Gabby not on good terms? Like, were they like kind of like rivals before she found out they were brother and sister? Like, did she think she would like go after Jamal to like take him for herself? Oh,
Well, remember the previous weeks, like Gabby pretty much goes after Allison a few times. So
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, but that was like because
but
of her vampire behavior. I
yeah,
feel
because
like
of
she
vampire
should know
behavior. Yeah,
that. But
but Gabby and Allison didn't really have much interaction before that. So
yeah, that's why I was wondering. I was like, I don't know where this hostility is coming from.
mhm.
And it basically comes out that she's afraid that he won't he'll invest all this time in trying to have a relationship with Gabby that he'll basically neglect the relationship with
Mhm.
her. And I was like, so you're just jealous? That's basically the root of all this.
Mhm.
I want to be the only girl in your life. um, yeah, so I get that's just her being a little bit selfish, but
Mhm.
um, they kind of make up in bed. She's still kind of iffy about the whole situation, but they cuddle when they go to bed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Jamal was like, "I don't want to go to bed angry." Like I
Yeah.
always like that about certain characters that aren't toxic.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you want to talk now or you want to have nightmares?" That's
Mhm.
what he said. um, oh, so going back to even Michael. So she tells him that she heard him praying to God and saying that he had feelings for her. And they have a whole conversation. And of course, when he says that he's in love with her, Ian walks in and
Of
hears
course.
it. But Ian kind of handled it better than I thought he would. He
Mhm.
was just like, "Of course you're in love with her." He's like, "Why wouldn't you be?" Like,
She's awesome.
she's perfect.
I
She's
love
amazing. Everybody
mhm,
loves her. um, and they talk about Caleb and him taking the baby and how he needs to do something about it.
mhm,
And he says something like, "I've been my brother's jailer my whole life." And Ian
mhm,
says something like, "If you're his jailer, how come you're the one that's stuck behind this wall?"
mhm,
And he basically convinces Michael to kill his brother
mhm.
because that's the only solution, right? Is to kill
Yeah.
him. So he goes back to the basement in the monastery, which I guess Caleb still hangs out in, even though he has all this like that mansion or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yep.
So something I noticed, and I don't think I ever noticed it before in that set, is like there seemed to be like a separate entrance into like almost like a brick area
Mhm.
that looked like it would be like the cave where the bed used to be.
Yeah.
that I used to say, like, "Is there plumbing there?" And I was like, "I don't remember that entrance being there," because I always felt like he was just stuck in the basement because he was locked down there.
Mhm.
But whatever, I'm nitpicking. Um, so Michael was a little bit sassy in these scenes. He was like, "What happened to the wedding?" And he was just, like, kinda taunting him.
Mhm.
He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "You didn't got like,
Like,
where."
"Why are you here? Like, it's your wedding night. What happened?"
Yeah. Um, and Caleb's like, "Don't worry, it will." He's like, "It's a slight setback, but it will." Um, and Michael basically says that he knows what he has to do, but Caleb says something like along the lines of they can't hurt each other,
Mhm.
but there must be a loophole in it
It's a loophole. I'm sure there is.
because he says you don't know how to go about it, and Michael
Mhm.
says I've always known.
Mhm.
So that implies that Caleb knows.
Yeah.
And now we know that Michael knows. So
Mhm.
hopefully they'll clue us in.
Uh-huh.
But I think we're finally here. I think
Yeah.
Michael's gone. I don't remember. I feel like I remember seeing it happen. So maybe there's a flashback of that scene when we have the reveal.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, he made it a lot further than I remembered him making it. We're 10 weeks in. So, and I'm saying that to say because we see Michael go back to Eve at the hospital. We see a priest that looks like Michael.
Mhm.
And he says that he killed his brother. He did what they asked of him. He chose
Uh-huh.
Eve and he killed his brother.
Mhm.
But we know better.
We know better.
There's 3 weeks left of this arc. So
Yeah.
um so back to Kevin and Lucy. They arrive in Transylvania and they are helped with their bags. And Lucy, I guess, gets one of her weird vibes because the guy that's helping her, she kind of is like, okay, okay. And they go
Uh-huh.
outside and he immediately calls somebody. And we see the Morley, is that their last name? Morley?
Uh-huh, Morley.
The family crest on the person on the other end, we see his hand, he's wearing the ring, the crest.
Uh-huh.
Um, Michael, yeah, that Michael wore.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm guessing that's their family.
Mhm.
And this is why I was like, huh, is Lucy related? Like, are they family? Like somehow? But I guess I'll find out because I don't want to be spoiled.
By the way, because he was credited, it's Charles Keaton on the other
Ugh,
line.
I had a
I
feeling.
know, I
I heard the voice and I was like, no, I'm not ready.
know.
He scares me. I'm sure we'll see him next week.
Only seen by the hand and the voice.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so that was the end of that. We're headed into Vampire Slayer territory, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, back at the lighthouse, uh, Jack and Livy are still making out, and she's confused about her feelings. And they get a little hot and heavy, and she ends up basically asking him to make love to her.
Mhm.
And she takes her shirt off, so she's in a bra. And he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Your neck." He's like, "I could taste your blood." And I guess because he gets a little turned on, his teeth get exposed and he turns away. And she's like, "I want to see." And she sees him with his teeth. And she's basically begging him to bite her. She's like, "Bite
Yeah.
me. Make me forget about Caleb. Make me like you. Bite me."
Yeah, because she got a taste of the world and she wants part of it.
Yeah. And I think that's how that ended, right?
That's how the week ended.
So yeah, there's a lot of sexiness.
Yeah.
Was there anything I didn't mention that you wanted to mention?
No, because I think we went through everything. Yeah. It's a nice quick week.
Yeah.
Wasn't. Well, it wasn't quick. I mean, it was still 5 episodes, but still, it was like a lot of action and a lot of.
A lot of story movement.
Mhm.
I want Gabby to get out of that cage already.
Yeah,
Hopefully next week.
yeah.
I feel like I remember, not to spoil the end, a big rooftop, like hospital rooftop battle or something.
I remember that too.
And okay, so all week I was trying to, because since you said in the later arc that this is apparently credited to where there was the split with Livy
Uh huh.
and Tess, all week I was trying to like see moments that could have been that moment. And I don't
Hmm.
know what it is. I was like, I
I'm
was
trying to
like,
figure that out too.
and then I was like, maybe it was the last time we watched when she woke up at Maison, whatever the rest of the words are.
De la Noche.
Yeah. And then I'm like, maybe it's the finale when she comes to, and maybe that's when the split happens. Like, I don't know. I was all week, I'm like, is this when it happened? Could this be it? Do you remember if they flash back to Tainted Love to show the scene where it happened?
I don't remember.
Okay. All
I
right.
wonder if it's when they spun. I
Oh, maybe.
wonder if it's when they spun, and then that's what happened. Because I feel like this Livy is just like is like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of the vampire thing, which the other Livy, I guess which the other Livy would probably never do.
Yeah.
She'd probably be terrified. So
This
I
one
don't
seems extra confused about her feelings.
know. Hmm.
Um, she loves Caleb. She loves Jack. She doesn't want to be with Jack. She wants to marry Caleb. She's begging Jack to bite her. Like it's like she doesn't. She's messed up in the head right now.
Uh huh.
But it's all probably Caleb's spell. So hopefully she'll get back to normal once that spell is broken.
Yeah, but
But
we know from later arcs that she becomes like evil. So
yeah, which I'm not mad at because Kelly
I'm
Monaco
not
does
mad
a
at
good
it. Kelly
job.
Monaco does a great job with that.
But all right, if you don't have anything else to add, I guess we can wrap it up. Um, Thank you for joining us for another edition of Queers and Soaps Port Charles. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.